Welcome to the Performance Café. I'm really glad to have you here with me today. It is swelteringly hot. South Africa is in the middle of a bit of a heat wave, and we seem to have gone from winter, dead of winter, to the height of summer in 3 easy steps. Well, not so easy. This is hot coffee, and I'm thinking, should have rather had something with slush in it. I wanted to share with you an interesting thought. You know how sometimes you just get this message that's repeated over and over and over again. And it seems to me that there's a lot being written about staying in your lane, or someone didn't stay in their lane, or whatever the case may be. And I get it, right? We've got rules and regulations, and we need norms and standards. We need to just have some form of structure in order to keep things going. But I think there's also a place for not staying in your lane. So I wanted to share that with you because I think that in some cases we've become too good at staying in our lanes. I almost want to chalk this up to the Industrial Revolution again. And you guys know how, any of you who've listened to me speak a couple of times know that that's my favorite thing. I blame everything on the Industrial Revolution. I think we need counseling. But I think that there was this thing about, and one can almost imagine it, in that era, people were working with machines. Occupational health and safety really didn't play a role. So what you wanted is someone who would just stand in front of a machine, do the same thing over and over and over again, and not get too creative or try anything new because it was really risky. And what you didn't want was someone else coming in, distracting that person, or maybe fidgeting with something on that machine, and that could have terrible ramifications. I get that. But I think once again, we are now in a knowledge society and in a knowledge economy. And there is so much disruption taking place that we actually can't afford to stay in our lanes. We all have to diversify. We all have to think broader. We all have to find more and other things that we can do, more skills, more interests, all that kind of stuff. And that's basically to help us be able to adjust and adapt at a time that's very difficult. For those of you who watched my Coffee Companions interview with David Houle, you would have heard that he said, that there is no constant, there is no stability. Change is the only thing that we can count on. And so what happens is our ability to adjust at speed, our ability to adapt and learn something new or figure out something new. Same with Zanele. When I spoke to her, Zanele Njapa, she spoke about unlearning in order to relearn. So where do I see this applying? Well, actually, it comes down to another Coffee Companion. I am enjoying that series and I'm learning so much, and I hope you are too. And this week, I'm speaking to Janita van der Kolff. And Janita is in risk management. She is the MD of Protean Business Solutions, and she's been in risk management for the longest time. And a very interesting thing that she said that sort of stuck with me, and I sort of want to take this and channel it into all areas of business, is she said very often people think that if you are the risk manager, you are managing the risks. She says, you're not. She says the risk manager is the owner of the portfolio of mechanisms that will manage risk. But the people actually managing the risks are the people on the floor, the people actually doing the work. Because a risk manager sitting in his office is not going to know immediately when something goes wrong on the floor. Let's talk a production line again. Right? The person who's working at that module or at that unit is going to know. That is the person who has the knowledge to know when something might potentially go wrong and be able to predict or be proactive about it. Or the person who has the training that once it goes wrong, how do we stop this reaction that's happening? And how do we then take it forward from there to get us back into working order again? And I thought, isn't that just it? It's so easy to say, it's not my job, it's not part of my portfolio, it's not what I get paid to do. But actually, I think we underestimate the amount of responsibility we have in the roles that we do. I think that we are also doing damage because when we cut ourselves, when we stay in our lane and cut ourselves off from other people, we don't actually open ourselves up for collaboration. And for me, collaboration is broader than the people who have the titles to make something work. Because I often find, as a coach, I coach people and I know nothing of their business. But because I come in without preconceived notions, without set ideas, and without actually understanding sometimes the very basics of what people do, I provide a fresh perspective, or I can challenge and ask questions, and in the process of clarifying those, we find places where, well, maybe things have shifted, maybe things have moved. Maybe there's a place where we can reinvent and actually fix this in a way that is more suitable to what's happening now day to day, instead of just assuming that what we've done always works. So today I'd like to ask you for this week, maybe take a look at keeping people out of their lanes. Take a look at how you can very creatively put teams together, how you can maybe include someone in a brainstorming session, even if they aren't necessarily related to the topic at hand, but maybe they can provide a fresh perspective. Maybe they're the thinking type, so they in any way wouldn't want to get involved in actually executing and getting to the nitty-gritty, but they'd be a great brainstorming partner. So for those of you who have worked with me and that know that I believe firmly in everyone's strengths and that we all have something to contribute, I'd like to ask you to go and double check your strengths and the strengths of the people around you and make sure, are we keeping people in their lane but out of their strengths? And is there a way that we can actually support the strengths of other people by getting into their lane? I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. I look forward to seeing you on Friday morning at 11 o'clock when I'm speaking to Janita van der Korf about risk management. Please like and subscribe on YouTube, on LinkedIn and Facebook. Please comment, share, and like. And until next Tuesday when we have a private conversation, just you and I look forward to seeing you at the Performance Café.